Hey, good afternoon. This is Brandon Steckler, CarQuest Technical Institute's virtual classroom. And I got a question for you, ladies and gentlemen at home. Your digital storage oscilloscope or your lab scope that you spent so much money on, does that sit in your toolbox collecting dust? Is that a tool you only take out of the toolbox when you have a really difficult problem to solve that's facing you inside the work bay? That's a very common misconception. I want to show you how myself and my good friends all over the place employ their lab scope every single day on cars in their work bay. Something as simple as testing the condition of a battery, we can use a digital storage oscilloscope for, and a lot more. Effective electrical troubleshooting, digital storage oscilloscope setup and operation is a course we're going to cover Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'd like you to join me. What we'd like to cover is using a lab scope and the many pieces of information it offers us as diagnostic technicians. We're going to understand why a DSO is beneficial to technicians because it applies to every car out there and any circuit that produces an electrical signal. It'll allow us to gain a better understanding of the vehicles we're working on and allow us to explain electrical signal concepts and how the PCM, or ECU if you will, interprets these signals to make decisions to create outputs. We are going to discuss the methods and the equipment needed for hooking up the lab scope to interpret the signals coming off the circuits that we are interested in. We are going to learn how to set up the DSO properly so we can gather these signals in an easy to understand format and make diagnostic decisions. By allowing for more than one channel, we can sample upwards of 4 or even 8 signals simultaneously, so we can gain a better understanding of how the computer strategizes to use these signals to make decisions to make the outputs function. We essentially become the computer and understand to gain a better understanding of how the circuits work and the systems and components in general. We're going to review the specifications and features with the lab scope you're using and many other lab scopes out there so we can begin to understand the limitations of the scope, what it can and what it cannot do. Of course, that's step one. I want to also address the common mistakes that myself, my friends, and many others have made, the pitfalls we've encountered as technicians learning to implement the lab scope in our diagnostic routine, so you can avoid those pitfalls. And of course, we want to illustrate some common signals and tests using the DSO to serve as a precursor for other classes. This is a class we can build on. So let's get our lab scopes out and employ them on a daily basis so we can become a more accurate, efficient, and profitable technicians. Make sure you visit CTI online and get yourself registered. We'll see you then.